Hello, Anna Brooks here. Good morning. I realize it's not morning. I am aware it's not morning. I just always say morning because it's what I do. It's what I love. All right. Hello. This lighting is really weird today. I don't know why. It's bothering me. All right, let me see if I can get this up first. Maybe it's the angle. Or maybe it's just that Melbourne is all gross and cloudy and doing its typical Melbourne thing again today, which is driving us all mental. Whatever it is, we will handle it. We will be absolutely fine. All right. Bear with me while I get this up. Come on. If you're there, say hello. Make sure you say hi. If this is your first time watching one of my live streams, or even if you're on the replay, please say hello. I love to hear from you and love to know who's watching, who's loving it, who's doing what. All right. I feel like maybe this isn't loving me at the moment. All right. I will be with you in just a sec. So I've got some awesome stuff to talk about today. If you just saw my post below, I think you're going to know a little bit about what it's about. And it's going to be awesome. All right, let's get into this. So welcome once again. If you haven't met me before, if you haven't been on one of my videos before, my name's Anna Brooks and I am here to inspire you, to impact you, to magnetize you, to motivate you to live your life on purpose, to create a lifestyle by design and not by default. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about today actually isn't so upbeat and isn't so happy, right? So if you're new to me, if you haven't watched some of my previous things before, you may not know about my history with binge eating. I've been a personal trainer off and on for about 10 years. And part of that time in the past, I actually had binge eating disorder for a very long time. Many years through my entire younger version of the personal training career, and it was pretty horrible. It was very intense. It was nobody knew about it because this is a part of binge eating disorder that's quite common. However, it wasn't that nobody knew about it because of the typical reasons. It was because I was hiding it behind a facade of health and fitness. So whilst I was sprouting how, you have to eat clean all the time and you have to just be exercising all the time. And I seriously was, because part of my binge eating disorder was that I never actually looked particularly overweight. I may have been a little bit chubby or whatever it was, but I never actually got fat from it because I was over exercising. So I had exercise, I think anorexia or exercise bulimia, whatever you call it. At the same time as well. So whilst I was binge eating, I was counteracting all of that with like hours and hours as much running circles around an oval at midnight at night, which was so not one of my brighter ideas in the world. But when you've already gone home, binged out on like the biggest Pizza Hut order you could possibly imagine, and then had to work it basically all off, that is what I ended up doing for a couple of hours at a time at about midnight at night. In my younger years, I would go to an oval and just run around and jog and walk until I basically couldn't run anymore, and then I'd crawl. Okay, wow, that was awesome. I was literally just about to hit finish because I thought it wasn't coming back, and then it came back. Yay, because I really didn't want to have to repeat all of that again. All right, we're back. So. Where was I? All right, so yes, there was copious amounts of over-exercising to combat the binge eating, right? So sorry, this is really frustrating me. All right, so whilst all of this was going on, basically, like I said, I was a PT for a very long time. And I was, a total fraud in the sense that I really wanted to be eating really well. I really wanted to be eating the way that I was sprouting. I really wanted to be feeling healthy and all that kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I was ridiculously fit, because you have to be if you're training that many hours a day, and it's intense because you're trying to really burn off as many calories as you can. You're going to be fit. So don't get me wrong. I was really flat out fit, but I was not healthy. I was so just all over the place. My gut, my digestive system, my bowel movements, everything were just all over the place because I was binge eating so much food, and it was just making me feel sick all the time. I was literally planning my day around when I could be spending time on the toilet because I would feel so sick. I would be making myself sick from all the food, from too much lactose, from too much gluten, from too much of all the stuff that my body perfectly handles now, but it's because it's not in excess, right? Anyway, so fast forward many, many, many years, and I went back into PT again, into personal training again. But this time I had actually recovered. Now, I do say recovered from binge eating disorder because I no longer have the episodes, and I no longer, the way that I identify it is when you're emotional or binge or overeating, it's a sense of losing yourself in the food, right? So it's not that you're going out with friends and you're just overeating, like you just order heaps of food and you're sitting and you're having a great time and you're chatting and you're eating all this amazing food and you feel amazing and you feel great. That to me is not a part of the binge eating. For me, even if you're doing it on your own, even if you just really enjoy a particular food and you bring it home and you eat that and you feel amazing and you really enjoy the taste and you're involved in it and you can taste it and you're enjoying it, that to me, yeah, okay, if you keep doing that and overeating all the time, obviously you're not going to get the ideal results you're after. But it's not the same. It's not a mindset problem. It's not a mindset disorder in some ways, I guess, where you're tuning out and you're basically not even really tasting the food. The food is actually numbing an emotion within you, right? So this is where all the binge eating and that kind of stuff comes from. So I want to tell you a story, what happened today, because I feel like a lot of the time I talk about obviously what I do now and how I eat now, which is fasting every single day. I fast every single day, and it's usually at least, 8 p.m. till about 2 p.m. So that's, I've forgotten now, maybe 16 hours. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's about right, or maybe even more. Anyway, so, no, that'll be more. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 18 hours. Wow. Holy shit. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes I'll eat from midday or whatever it is, right? And you know about mostly eating really nutritious food and that kind of thing. However, I'm a very big advocate of if it fits your macros. And therefore, I very much do not believe that you need to be cutting out all, junk and sugary and all that kind of food completely. If you want to be healthy and fit and you want to look the way that you want, I don't think that that's necessary. And I don't think it's fun if it doesn't suit you. So, I'm very much about balance in the sense of what works for you. This is what I teach. This is what I go through with my private clients, is how to tune into what is right for you, what is a good way of eating for you, and how to know how to choose the kind of foods that will get you the results you want, right? And how to actually tune into yourself that way. So that is very much where I'm at. And I think I forget sometimes to mention to you guys and to actually remind you that I'm human as fuck, and therefore the whole binge eating recovered thing, yeah, for sure, I don't do that anymore, but it doesn't mean that the triggers and the cravings and the same things that used to set me off in the past don't still come up, because they really do. They really do. I just guess I don't talk about it as much because I now have years of experience and I have an arsenal of the techniques and tools and things like that, which I teach obviously my private clients, or if you've done my Love Your Body, Free Your Mind program, which is an online take-home program that you do in your own time, 6 weeks, or is it even 8 weeks? My gosh, I've forgotten now. It's a really full-on program. Where we go through lots of this stuff about triggers and how to work through what triggers you, the people that trigger you, the situations, how to combat that, how to work through it, all that kind of stuff. It's a very intense, take it at your own pace kind of program. And so the thing that happens is that a lot of the time we get through this point where you're like, oh, cool, well, now I know what to do, right? So when something comes up, for me, I already know how to handle it. And yes, sometimes I'll cave, as you would call it, or whatever, and I'll go and have the food that I was craving. It's not usually an overeating situation anymore. It's just kind of like a fulfilling a craving kind of situation. And it's definitely not binge eating, because I'm not eating copious amounts. I'm not tuning it out. I'm just really enjoying whatever naughty food I should be having, or whatever it is. But sometimes I forget to mention, and sometimes I forget to really be honest and just upfront about the fact that this doesn't go away, right? So the reason that it doesn't go away, and the reason, like my story from today, for example, is I know my triggers. I know the stuff that actually is, for me, binge eating was my main source of numbing my emotions and of stress release, right? So I knew that if I just ate a whole lot of food, I could sit on my own in peace for however long period of time. My hormones would be calming down, because they would be so satiated with all of the food that they would suddenly not be able to focus on anything else. There's that sort of endorphin rush of calmness, right? Which is why same reason that people turn to drugs, or to just sleeping too much, or whatever it is, because they get that endorphin and they get that dopamine and they get that hormone rebalancing that makes them feel good again, right? And they get hooked on it. They get hooked on the drugs, they get hooked on the alcohol, they get hooked on the oversleeping, and in my case, they get hooked on overeating, right? Because it gives you that rush, that change in physiology that you're looking for. So because I've been there so many times, I'm now very wary of things when I'm being triggered again, and I already know what's going on and I know how to handle it. So this morning, right, I have a very set routine, not in the sense of like that every single day is the same, but that every single day starts the same for me. My morning routine is always perfectly aligned for me, which is I work out and then I do my journaling and my mindset work, whatever I feel I need to on the day. It's always journaling, always, because I do all my affirmations and all my free writing and that kind of thing. And then depending on what I'm feeling that morning, I will either do some EFT tapping, or I'll do some other meditation, or I'll just do some visualization, whatever it happens to be. Every day is different in that sense. But it's always workout, mindset work for myself first, right? Before anything else. And this morning, I got shifted out of my routine. I went to cover a boxing class for a friend to teach at one of the gyms that I go to. And because the class was at 6 a.m., I didn't get up and do my own mindset work or my own workout first, right? I thought, okay, well, I'll go do the class and then I'll do the workout straight after, which I did. I did exactly that. However, on the way home, driving home, so I didn't bring my journal with me. I thought, okay, no, I'll come home and I'll go back and do my journaling and do my mindset work. So I got home, or actually I was on my way home, and it started. That tension build up, that kind of, what's the word? It's literally, it's this tension within the body where you're kind of not frustrated, but just you're on the edge of something, and you feel like if I just don't get some kind of release, some kind of food right now, something bad's going to happen, and you don't even know what it is. You just have this tension in your body that you know food is going to release. And that started for me on my drive home. And I knew like straight away, because I already felt it earlier in the morning as well, that it was because I had gone and done something else, even though I love it. And even though I love the boxing class that I was covering, like it's just so much fun. Even though I was really, really enjoying that, that's not the point. The point is I didn't do what I needed for myself first. And this has been a big lesson in my life for me to learn, a big sort of, I guess, really soul lesson ultimately for me is what this is. That everything, I need to put myself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup, that whole thing. That's been a huge lesson for me, and a huge lesson about why I was actually binge eating and overeating and emotional eating in the first place. So I knew this straight away as I was driving home. I knew that. And that's good. That's a part of it, is acknowledging it and actually knowing what's going on. But the other part of actually being able to go, okay, hold on. All right. I know this feels really uncomfortable. I know you're really tense right now. I know that you feel like something horrible is going to happen if you don't drive to the bakery and get those foods right now, because that's literally what it felt like. But just breathe into it for just a second and feel, okay, but what is really going on? Like, what are you really trying to run from? What feelings are coming up right now? Okay. And as soon as I let myself acknowledge them and tune in and feel the tension and actually step into it rather than try and run away from it, try and go get the food, try and numb it down and get it away from me as fast as possible so I don't have to deal with it. Rather than doing that, because I actually tuned into it, acknowledged it, felt into it, and stepped into the emotions so that I could feel them, I was able to, and I'm not going to say just completely ignore it, but I was able to get myself home and get myself to the next step, which I knew I just had to get my journal out and I just had to write. I had to be there. I had all this stuff, other stuff planned that I had to do today, and I literally just came home, chucked my bags on the ground, grabbed my journal, and went nuts because I knew that that was exactly what was going on. That was the reason, that was the cause of that tension. And if I didn't prioritize that now, because I hadn't prioritized it this morning like I always do, then that is what's going to happen to me, right? So when I say, the thing that people, I guess, recovered sabotages and that kind of stuff won't tell you is that, yes, you can be recovered. Yes, you can definitely not be doing it anymore. It doesn't mean that the triggers are always going to go away. In time, for sure. There's a lot of triggers that I used to have before that are now gone, purely because of repetition. It's just a habit, right? But there are some triggers, because they were so deeply rooted in so much of my past, so much of my childhood, that kind of thing, that they will take a lot longer, okay? And the truth is that sometimes it's just knowing exactly what you need to do in the moment, going and doing that, and tuning into exactly what's going on so that you can acknowledge it and not run away from it. As soon as you run away from something, you're going to run straight into your sabotage. That's a good quote, actually. I'm going to say that one again. As soon as you don't actually acknowledge what the problem is, if you don't tune into your feelings, as soon as you try to run away from your feelings, you're going to run straight into your sabotage. That's what it is. That's what it is. So you got to tune in. You got to be honest with yourself, right? Okay, cool. So I would love to know what you think of that. Love for you to pop any comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are, if this is ringing a bell for you, if this is something that you're relating to and going, okay, I haven't thought of it that way. I would love to know if this is something that's been helpful for you. Okay, so if you saw my post below just a moment ago, there's I've got a new program coming out, and like I said, I haven't actually done any of the groundwork really for this one yet, except for knowing that it is going to be about stepping into your personality, right? So if you've ever said things like, I am my own worst enemy, or the only person standing in my way or stopping me is me, no one else is in my way, I'm the only one that keeps fucking things up for myself. If you've ever said stuff like that, then this is going to be exactly what you're looking for. Exactly. Because it is literally a personality. It's unlocking the power in your personality, right? So you're going to be learning about what it is about your personality that you're not aware of right now. And by personality, I don't just mean like your characteristics, your outside, are you extrovert, are you introvert? Although that's part of it for sure. But it's not going to be just that stuff. It's going to be the way that you think about the world, the way that you actually see things, the way that you classify things, the way that you learn, the way that you buy, the way that you sell, the way that you present yourself, the way that you classify things, right? So whether you're a person who sees things in a bigger picture or whether you're more of a detail-orientated person, all these kinds of little things and big things, which you may have never really even thought about your personality and how these things make up who you are. But if you've ever felt like you're the only one who's standing in the way of all your goals and you're the only reason that you keep self-sabotaging, like you're not one of those people that's going to go, oh, but my partner's not supportive and the cat just peed and the dog ate the homework, and blaming everybody else, but you know that actually deep down, you're the only reason that you haven't gotten where you wanted to with whatever goal it happens to be, whatever, if it's career, whether it's personal, whether it's relationship, whether it's money, whether it's, God, anything, body, whatever it is, right? If you know that, no, the only reason you haven't actually done it is because of yourself and you just keep fucking yourself up, then this is exactly what you're looking for. So it's going to be literally understanding and unlocking parts of your personality, parts of the way that you work so that you understand how to use your strengths to overcome your weaknesses, right? And also what your weaknesses are and just how to kind of bypass them, right? The things that trigger you, the things that will tend to cause the sabotage for you, because everyone's a little bit different. We all have slightly different things that will set us off. Like, for For example, you will have maybe a friend who, if someone tells them, oh, you can't do that, that's pretty much going to set them off straight away to be like, fuck you, I'm going to prove to you I can do that. And they are just like a rebel at heart. You know that. You might have another friend who, you know, is so sensitive and so externally motivated by other people and what other people think, that just one person who doesn't even matter to them, who's not even their friend, but just a random person, if they happen to mention something they want to do and this person says, nah, you can't do that, that won't work, they will immediately take that on board. They will immediately stop themselves and sabotage themselves because they are so externally motivated, right? So there's no good or bad in this. It is literally just the differences and learning to understand what your differences are and how to use your strengths to basically even out the weaknesses so that you can keep moving forward, so that you can get to your goal, because you know what stops you, what stopped you in the past, and how you're going to get past it this time, okay? So it's going to be an incredible program. That's all I can tell you for now. I cannot even tell you how it's going to run. I can't tell you the structure. I can't tell you anything like that. All I know is what it's going to be, what the result is going to be. And the result is going to be that you are going to understand yourself on a whole new level that you've never understood before. You are going to know what motivates you, what drives you, what stops you, what sabotages you, and how to fucking stop that once and for all, and how to do it moving forward. So once I have the program, everything mapped out for you, I will definitely be letting you know. So if this is something that you're going, oh my God, yes, I have to have this, then pop down below, oh my God, yes, in the comments, and I will make sure that you are the first person or one of the first people to actually find out about this, because I'm going to have a bonus, but it's going to be a limited number of bonuses, I've decided. So rather than having like a straight time frame early bird special, it's just going to be the first whatever. I haven't decided yet how many people will get this, and this is by far the biggest bonus I've ever given away. So earlier this year I did a training called the Winning Mindset Smackdown, and this is going to be the most perfect bonus to go with this program, right? Now, this is one of my highest end programs I've ever done. It originally sold for $397. So it's definitely one of the biggest programs, one of the biggest trainings that I've ever done, one of the most important ones. And it is going to absolutely blow you away, because this is tapping into, I've frozen. Why have I frozen? Why have I frozen? Okay, I don't know if I'm there or not, because the screen has actually frozen on me. Not sure what to do.